Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mock Sports Presents the Quaddie Poddy. We look a little different tonight. If you're on the YouTube, you're going to sound a little different if you're listening on the Spotify. And the reason being is you're only going to hear one voice tonight, and that is me. That is Cashy, because Nicko is living it up over the ditch in New Zealand at the moment. He's gone over to see his family. He's gone over with his girlfriend, and he's going to be there for a couple of weeks. He explained last week on the pod. So you've just got me tonight, YouTube. You're not going to see him or hear him one bit. If you're listening on your Spotify or your Apple Podcasts, you're going to hear him for about a minute later on when we're going through our tips for the tip-off, because, of course, that's coming down to the wire. So we need to make sure that we've got his tips, and he has sent them in. He's sent a little bit of an audio message, and I'm going to splice in there at the end. But now you've got Cashy. And God, there's a lot to unpack here. There is so much to talk about from last week. There's so much to talk about from the season and the autumn that was, because this is the season finale after all. We need to unpack everything. And let's just start with last week. What a day racing. We started off early. Spicy Lou got the chockies for Nick. And then, it was a favourites day. We tipped it to be a favourites day, and it was. The Tab lost a record amount of money, apparently. Good, because they deserve to, with this many good horses all landing on the same day. Tempted went bang. Autumn Glow would have gone bang, but had to scratch. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then Treasure of the Moment versus Dana Fangirl. That multi apparently was a record loss for the Tab, and good. We backed it in. It got up, and, as it should. Just three really, really good horses, and just some insane rides from J-Mac there. Let's just talk about it, honestly. Just Treasure of the Moment did it the tough way, but Damien Lane gets her over the line and just gets the job done. She is now one of the best horses in the country, and she's horse of the autumn. We'll talk about that in a minute, but she's fantastic. So Lane's ride to get her over the line there, awesome. But the rides I'm more concerned with is J-Mac on versus Dina and Fangirl. And a lot of people were saying, if the horses weren't so good, it would have been a butcher's ride. No. Okay? They got into tricky positions. J-Mac probably got into a position that he didn't really want to start off with. But then what does he do? Just oozes class, gets the best out of the horses. They're the best horses in the field, rides them like it, and just gets the job done. Elbows out, finds a gap, and then as soon as he gets that gap, makes sure that they get over the line. Once they found those gaps, it was done. Fangirl was looking so sticky, but just got the elbows out, went shoulder to shoulder with the stablemate of tissue, and just put them to bed. Festina looked sticky, found a gap, put them to bed. And it's just fantastic to see. It's fantastic to see punters getting up. It's fantastic to see multis landing. The only thing was the Quaddie didn't get up, because who saw Arapaho coming? God, she absolutely dominated them. And then my best bet commemorative got absolutely swooped by a $26 horse, Infancy, who was paying 60s the time we recorded the podcast last week. So, no, we didn't land the Quaddie, unfortunately, but we had 5 winners on the day, and we've been landing consistent winners throughout the last few weeks, which has been good. We've ended off the season really well. We had 5 winners this week, 5 winners the week before that. The week before that didn't really count because it was a write-off because Rose Hill got delayed, but Slipper Day, that was another 5 winners. Week before that, we only had 2. Then we had a big day. We had 7 winners on the day for bloody All-Star Mile Day. That was a big day, that's for sure. And then we had 6 winners for the week before that at Randwick there. And 5 winners before that, 4 winners, 3 winners. So just looking through those results, we've tipped on average 4 to 5 winners every single week. Obviously, could be better, but could be a lot worse. It's been a tough autumn, but we've got through it in the green in the end. So really happy that you guys have tuned in every single week. We've paid you. We've gotten you some winners. No prizes for some of the favourites we've tipped, but you can't go broke back in favourites there. So let's talk about Autumn Glow. Jeez, that horse is meant to be baby wings, but we never see her at the races because she keeps getting injured and keeps having temperatures. So had a temperature, had to scratch, and they decided to put her away, and we'll see her again in spring. So what's next for her? People are saying, send her the Cox Plate, send her here, send her there, send her everywhere. I think it's pretty clear where she's going to go. You're only 4 once in the country these days, and it's the Golden Eagle. And a lot of racing purists are going to hate that we're going to see it in a Golden Eagle rather than a traditional Group 1 race. It's going to be in one of these new pop-up races that's been awarded Group 1 status. But you are only 4 once, and that's the norm in Australia now. If you're a 4-year-old, you're targeting the Golden Eagle over a Cox Plate. You're targeting the Golden Eagle over, the Cups. Okay, they don't care about the fact that you're going to be able to race for those traditional races. It's all about the Golden Eagle now. Because why wouldn't you? It's $10 million. And I think that Autumn Glow, they say we're working out what's going on in the spring. I suggest it could be even an Everest into Golden Eagle. But Everest, I'm not totally sold on it being an Everest, but Golden Eagle definitely. Golden Eagle for sure. She'll be there Golden Eagle Day. And talk about the Golden Eagle. It is ramping up to be the race of the spring, and it has been the last few years. On paper, this has been the race of the spring the last few years. Every time we get to the end of the autumn, we start to get really excited for the Golden Eagle. But let me just list off these names. Okay, you got Lady Shenandoah, Autumn Glow, Private Harry, Treasure the Moment, Lady of Camelot, Clean Energy, Linebacker, Broadsiding, Aliana, Lazura, Swift Falcon, Evaporate. The list goes on and on. Plus, you already know that in the spring there are going to be some horses that put their names in the hat out of absolutely nowhere. You've also got the internationals that are inevitably going to come over from Japan and Europe and New Zealand as well. It's just going to be an absolute cracker. It's the race of the spring for sure. Forget the Everest, forget the King Charles, forget the Cox Plate, forget the Melbourne Cup. Golden Eagle is the new race of the spring when it comes to just pure talent. All of those 4-year-olds on paper are just incredible. You've got 3 of the best horses in the country there that could potentially end up there with Lady Shenandoah, Autumn Glow, Treasure of the Moment. So it's going to be absolutely blockbuster on Golden Eagle Day. Forget Derby Day, it's Golden Eagle Day now. It's going to be an absolute cracker. But now that we're talking about horses that are still sticking around, what they're doing in the spring, here are some horses that won't be there in the spring. They have retired. Deny Knowledge, came over as an import, was able to win a Group 1 and didn't really do much other than that. Still, great career. You don't win a Group 1 for nothing. Shelby 66 retired. Finally, that's about 2 years too late, but you'll never forget. You will never, ever, ever forget that autumn where he just went on an absolute tear. I had money on him every single start, paid the punters in the Galaxy, and it was just awesome. Just an awesome run, the party boy, but gee, after that, you just knew that he was going to be smashed and he was going to have nothing left. And the fact that he ran around for as long as he did, including that run earlier on in the autumn, stupid, just terrible stuff. But thankfully, he gets to be fat and happy in a paddock for the rest of his career now. And then good old Amelia's Jewel decided to retire. So now my love-hate relationship gets put to bed. Did I ever really hate it? Yes, because I hated the fact that it was considered the next Winx. It was this next big star. No, you're from Perth. Perth horses never really go that well over here, apart from like an Arcadia Queen in my time. Plus, I know before my time there were plenty, and there'll probably be plenty more to come. But just Amelia's Jewel to me never actually jumped off the pages. Oh my God, she's a star. She's such a star. Like, considering who we had over here, and she couldn't even beat them. Like, she faced some real B graders at certain points over here on the East, and she just couldn't even beat them. She just could not beat them. She beat up on some C graders a couple of times, but she couldn't even win like some solid B grade races, let alone the Group 1s and the A graders. Like, she's a good horse. She'll forever go down as a good horse. She's a Group 1 winner after all in Perth. Does it really count? I say no. People will disagree with me, but she'll forever be a good horse. She won't go down as one of the greats. That's for sure. But before we get into the listener questions, no hotline tonight because I don't have the software to do it, unfortunately, since I'm not in the studio with the old Roadcaster. But let's just go through flop of the spring and horse of the spring. Sorry, no, flop of the autumn and horse of the autumn. At the start of the autumn, both Nick and I went through our predictions for it. And I think I'm not quite, I honestly can't remember who I gave, but I will say horse of the autumn straight up the bat, Treasure of the Moment. You could maybe say a Lady Shenandoah, but I think Treasure of the Moment really undefeated all autumn. You can't really argue with that. I mean, I know Lady Shenandoah was as well, but you can't argue with just the absolute domination that Treasure of the Moment's had. She just hasn't been touched all autumn until on the weekend where she had to do it the tough way and still knuckled down and got the job done. Just absolutely fantastic. She's going to be a star. I think, Golden Eagle this spring, next spring a Cox Plate. World's her oyster. We're going to be seeing her for years to come, which is really exciting. And flop. I mean, Woderton, considering he was meant to be this absolute world beater and then hasn't won a race since that first up against what has turned out to be nobodies on a bog track. So, I mean, what do you make of that? But, I mean, one that isn't so obvious, Cheerwolf. Cheerwolf 100% flop of the autumn. Considering this horse was meant to be coming into the carnival as, the second seed to Via Sestina when it came to the best horses in the country over that mile, over that 2,000-metre trip. I mean, come on, let's just look through its prep here. Let's just go through its results here so I can back it up with facts, and not just, rattle off, opinion to you. So first up, 1,300 metres in the Group 1 Canterbury Stakes. How did it go there? Fifth. Okay, fifth by 2.31 lengths. Then we go second up, comes third in the Group 1 George Ryder by a nostril. So fair enough. Then comes out and wins by an absolute bee's dick the Group 2 Selwood Stakes against a bunch of B graders. Almost got beat by Bs and C graders. That's not good, okay? The fact that it won a race there and it being a Group 2, forget about it, okay? That was an absolute gimme race that it did because it had to scratch because of a temperature and just got thrown in there for a bit of fitness. It should have won by more, okay? And then fifth in a Queen Elizabeth by 4 lengths, considering going into the prep, it was meant to be neck and neck down the straight with Via Sestina, and that honour ended up going to Dubai Honour. You had 4 starts, 2 fifths, a third, and a first, and the first doesn't even really count, does it? Because it was against absolutely nobody. So I think considering Cheerwolf was meant to be this all-conquering next big thing, could have won a Cox Plate if it backed up in the little Cox Plate. Clearly not. I mean, it hasn't really progressed on as in its 4-year-old autumn, but I mean, it's a gelding. We've got a lot of racing left in him. 5-year-old spring, here we come. They say they're going to target the Cox Plate. Maybe Joe Pride can get him back up and running then. And I'd love to see it because you like to see a Joe Pride doing well, especially with horses such as this. But considering the hype this horse had coming into autumn, especially Joe Pride claiming that it was going to just absolutely beat up on Via Sestina everywhere it went, has to be considered flop of the autumn. Has to be, in my opinion. Okay, let's go to the listener questions here. Let's have a look. We've only got a couple. We got JMac96900 saying that Ascot Race 6 War Machine Gracie. Machine Gun Gracie. Only $1.60, but easily wins and is good value for multis. Fair enough. If you're a Perth punter, guys, get in on that floor. And then he also says, what's the top jockey rankings for the season? Well, when it comes to the autumn, I would say top 1 has to be J-Mac, of course. Who else is it going to be? Number 2, Damien Lane. I mean, he's been fortunate enough to have Treasure of the Moment. But, yeah, Damien Lane. You got Blakey Shin in 3rd, Mark Zara 4th, and I think Zach Lloyd. He's won a few Group 1s this autumn, and credit to him. We've given him a lot of flack on this pod over the years because he's always suspended. He can't be considered top 1 at the moment because he's got a long way to go and he's always suspended. So he definitely needs to improve that. But I mean, I can't ride a horse also, so I can't judge him too much, can I? But he's certainly up there with top 5 most informed jockeys in the country. He has absolutely been riding his absolute skin out. And I've got to, commend him for that. And since we're talking about top 5 jockeys, I've also put together my top 5 horses in the country at the moment. The full rankings are going to come out after this weekend because it could change with a broadsiding winning, a Jimmy Style winning. Who knows? The top 5 horses in the country as of right now. You got Via Sestina, number 1. Treasure of the Moment. Fangirl in 3rd. Lady Shenandoah in 4th. And then in the 5th spot, this is a tentative one because this is, remember, getting recorded before the all-age stakes. Number 5 goes to Mr. Brightside. If Broadsiding gets up on the weekend, which Nick thinks he does, spoiler for later, if Broadsiding gets up on the weekend, he goes in at number 5. But at the moment, before the all-age stakes, you've got Bearsastina in number 1, you've got Treasure the Moment in number 2, Fangirl in number 3, Lady Shenandoah is the 4th best horse in the country, and then 5th best horse in the country is Mr. Brightside, but he could drop out after the weekend. He could even maybe go straight up to the top if he manages to win in Hong Kong, that's for sure. But yeah, that's the 5 best horses in the country, in my opinion. The full top 10 rankings are going to come out on the socials in the next couple of weeks. You'll have your broadsidings in there. You'll have your Private Harrys. You'll have your Autumn Glows. You'll have your Tom Kittens even, I think, could potentially get a run in the top 10. Chia Wolf will probably still be in the top 10, but will definitely drop out of that top 5, probably down towards 9, 10. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he drops out. He's lucky that a few horses have retired, including in a Tissue as well. Like, I think a Tissue's better than him at the moment, and she's retired, so he gets the luck of the draw there. What else have we got when it comes to listener questions? We didn't get a lot this week. We've got Sammy Taylor 4, great pod. Love tuning in every week, legends. Hopefully a footy-like pod in the racing off-season. Okay? Let us know, guys, if that's something that you're interested in, because me and Nick have discussed it on length, doing like a footy pod where we just chat footy, give some footy opinions, less analysing the game, more punting on the game as well, because obviously if you want footy analysis, tune into AFL 360 and Fox Footy. Those boys are going to be able to give you a lot more analysis than us, even though we like to think we know footy quite well. But, I mean, our strength is in our punting. We land quite a few multis. We're looking good with the props. If you've been following on social media, you've seen my same game multi anchors predictions. So those props to put in your same game multis, and I'm pretty successful at that. I went 3 from 5, 3 from 5, 4 from 5. So I've hit 10 out of 15, 66%. Not amazing, but not terrible either. You'd be in the profit there if you're backing them in every single time. So we have certainly considered doing a footy pod. So let us know if that's something you would like to see. Hit us up in the DMs. Comment on every photo on our socials. Comment on every video on our socials, because we're only going to do it if the demand is there. So let us know if the demand is in fact there. And speaking about footy punting, if you want to get on all those multis, getting on all those plays that I've just mentioned, okay, go to Dabble, sign up using the code MOCSports to let them know we sent you. The link is also in our bio on our socials. The link is in the show notes. Okay, make sure when you're doing so, gamble responsibly, set a deposit limit, and think about what you could be buying instead. But that is the one-stop shop for all mock plays, whether we're betting on the golf, we cleaned up on the Masters, okay, whether we're cleaning up on the basketball playoffs, the NBA playoffs are coming up, well, they've just started, the play-ins have just started, and then, of course, NRL and AFL, AFL is our bread and butter when it comes to punting. So Dabble, MOCSports is the code, not the MOCSports, simply MOCSports to let them know we sent you. And then we've also got Franny11 there. Can Swift Falcon get me one bloody winner? Thanks again for a delicious autumn, boys. Thank you, Franny. Look, we'll get into it in a bit, but I think if he doesn't win on the weekend, when is he going to win, really? But okay, I think that's probably all we have to discuss now. Let's just get into the tips. I'll whip through them. Like I said, the rundown's going to look very different today because obviously Nick's not here and it's just me, so I'll whip through them for you. So on the weekend at Randwick, the weather is fine in Sydney at the moment. There's been scattered showers throughout the night, but not too much to tip us into the heavy rains. The track's currently a soft 7. The rail's out 6 metres from the 1,000 metres to the winning post, out 5 metres for the remainder. When it comes to the weather, it's meant to be hot tomorrow in Sydney on Good Friday, and then it's meant to be hot on the weekend as well on Saturday. So I would suggest it won't be a soft 7 come race day. Will it be a good 4? I'm not sure. Maybe later on in the day, but I think we're going to start soft 5, soft 6, potentially good 4 on the day, but definitely back your horses that are versatile, can go well in the dry and the wet. And with that winning post being out 6 metres from the 1,000 metres to the winning post, 5 metres for the remainder, leaders should have a bit of an advantage on the day. So race 1, the 1,400 metre benchmark 72 midway. Tough race, as these always are, punters, as you know. Piraeus is back to his old tricks again. I really had to struggle to find a reason not to bet on him. I know Nick definitely would have been on him, but I set it on Tender Eyes to go back to back after winning on Tancred Day. The way it just dug down, went straight to the front, grabbed the rail and went go, go, go. I think it can do similar here. It's not drawn the rail, but I think it should be able to get up there on pace, and then hopefully the leader's advantage can really play its hand early on in the day. like I said here, it's drawn 11th here. There's some speed drawn under it, but I definitely think it could get up on pace, and that's the place you want to be for the majority of the day. $6.50 to win, $2.40 to place is the price I like. Plus Molly Burke in fine form. So she can definitely get a winner here in the first. As we move on to the second 1,400 meter class 3 highway. I mean, it's the highway, guys. What do we have to do here except hopefully find one that has some solid form leading on it and hope that they maintain it now that they're in the city and they rock up on the day ready to go. I sided with Win the Day in the end. Obviously, been contesting much easier races than this in the deep country. I think the last few wins for it has come at the Sapphire Coast. Don't quote me as I'm about to check it here. Yeah, Sapphire Coast, Canberra, Nowra. Yeah, so proper country racing there. But she barely put a foot wrong in her entire career. Should sit just off the pace and hopefully prove to be strongest late at $7 to win, $2 to place. Alicia Collett on board there. But yeah, 2 starts at the distance, 1 win, 1 second. 1 placing in the soft, 2 placings in the heavy, 2 placings in the good. So, I mean, versatile horse, and that's what you want to find on the day. So, Win the Day for me in the highway. Race 3, 2,000 metre, Group 3, Frank Packer Plate, Swift Falcon. To load or not to load Swift Falcon at the $2 mark. If it gets any lower, I'd probably leave it off, maybe put it in some multis. Don't get it on the nose unless it's over $2. You know my deal. I don't really get on any horses under $2 unless they're a treasure of the moment, a Lady Shen, a Versus Dina, and a Fangirl. But even then, they're usually in multis anyways. Firm Agreement has always been around the mark, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it get a win here. Same with Plymouth. Tenbury Wells if it gets a bit wetter, but I don't think it is going to get a bit wetter. Miss Alexis is a solid bottom weighter there. Could potentially play spoiler, but Swift Falcon should have won 2 weeks ago. Tyler Shill left it way too late. Should have pissed in. Should piss in here. If it doesn't piss in here, I don't think I'll probably ever be backing it again because it should have won the majority of its races this prep. It just continually gets too far back. So Tyler, whip the thing, baby. Let's get it going nice and early. I'm sure he's learned his lesson after the last couple of starts. He's going to make sure to get it going nice and early, and he's going to run past them all on the straight and get up for the punters. Though we move to race 4 here. This is the Group 3 James HB Carr Stakes here. This is what Autumn Glow was maybe going to be lining up in, but didn't end up accepting. You've got Clean Energy as your $2.70 favourite. You've got Zaytung, Snow in May, Lilac, More Territories, Churchill Choice, Dame Commander, Titanium Miss. The list goes on of what is really a lot of the B graders and C graders when it comes to those 3-year-old fillies here. Okay. Snow in May, really, really good horse. Obviously has Lady Shenandoah form from the spring. Zaytung has some good form as well behind. She's got pizzazz. And Enriched, considering Enriched just won last week in the Percy Sykes. So, not the Percy Sykes, sorry, the other 2-year-old race on the day. No, got the other 3-year-old race on the day. What am I saying? But yeah, look, Clean Energy for me. Should have won last start, but Ryan Moore just sucks in Australia, doesn't he? Tim Clark back on board now, knows how to ride it. He's been riding it in track work. He'll know this horse inside and out. Just should get up on the pace and just run them into the ground from that second barrier. I can't see anything getting past it. It's quite honestly my best of the day. I'll spoil it now. It was my best of the day 2 weeks ago. Should have won. It's the best of the day today as well and should win. Lilac, I think the biggest danger, obviously, with J-Mac on board, and it has that really strong form behind. She's got pizzazz and Flying for Fun, and also has Lady Shenandoah and Lady of Camelot form. So, I mean, it's a danger in that first barrier as well. Should press up and probably give Clean Energy a bit of a pacemaker. But yeah, I think Clean Energy will be the strongest coming towards the end of the race here. Race 5, 1,200 metre benchmark 88. Really tough race. Topanga seems the clear leader here, and quite honestly, let's get it out of the way. I'm addicted to backing Waller Imports first up, and this is what Topanga is. Plus, I'm a big Boy Meets World fan. So, $14 to win, $3.75. It will be great if she can get a win, especially considering it seems to be the only horse in the race that does like to lead. So she might be able to play Catch Me If You Can and steal it there if nothing is willing to chase her. My main bet, though, is going to be Count Your Blessings at $10 to win, $3.30 to place. Should hopefully sit amongst the pack and bide her time before unleashing late. Rarely out of the finish. I expect the same to happen here. The last time we saw Count Your Blessings was up on the Gold Coast for Magic Millions Day, and Didn't really put a great run in there, but was out in barrier 16. Gets barrier 1 now. Gets a better chance to really attack that line. Fingers crossed she does. Topanga and count your blessings here as we move on to race 6, the Group 3, 2,000 metres JRA plate. Double playing this one as well here with the import first up for the O'Shea team in Klondike. We know European stayers just absolutely shit on ours. Plus the booking of J-Mac for both trials and this race really shows intent to win. They must be really confident that this horse can get the job done, as is J-Mac. So I'm definitely going to have a play there at $7 to win, $2 for. That's the main play. But I'm also going to have a small play on Flying Bandit at $9 to win, $2.75 to place. He is a midweek horse who has just been rising through the grades, guys, very nicely, and makes a massive jump up in class here. He'll have to do it the tough way, but gets no weight, absolutely flying. $9 to win, $2.75 to place. Can certainly be in the finish. I'm willing to have $5 each way on it, but the main play is Klondike to really show us Aussie horses how they get it done over in Europe. Race 7 and 8 there in the tip-off. We'll discuss that in a minute. But race 9, we go to the 1,200 metre Group 3 Hallmark Stakes. Very tough race here, so I've decided to throw one at the stumps and go on left field. Age of Kings at $61 to win, $11.50 to place. Am I super confident? No, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not super confident. Why would I be super confident on a $61 horse? If I was that confident on a $61 horse and it gets up, I'm a genius. But it's called a roughy chance for a reason. It's called a small each way stake for a reason. I just think I've seen a lot worse $60 chances. Wallet Import, who's had just over a year and a bit to fully acclimatise, showed something for the first time ever in spring, has been trialling quite well, has trial form behind Count Your Blessings, who I'm tipping earlier in the pod. Throw in the fact that it's freshly gelded. We know that Nick and I love a fresh gelding and tipping it first off the gelding. I would not be at all surprised to see it run a cheeky race. Waller's also booked Nash for it. Okay? Wouldn't have booked Nash if he wasn't confident that it could somewhat run a race. Okay? You know, Lloyd's been riding it in the Lloyd, Clark, Collett have all ridden it in trials. Okay, so there's no real set jockey here. Mickey D and Damien Lane all rode it in the spring. But I mean, would not have booked Nash, in my opinion, if wasn't confident. Would you not, like, come on now? Like, I think that really tells me that Waller is somewhat confident that he can get this horse up and have it run a cheeky race here. I'm not saying that it's going to win, definitely. Obviously, it's $60. I'm not saying it's going to place, definitely. But considering that this is a very average field, and Age of Kings is fresh off a gelding, has Nash booked, has finally acclimatised to Australia, is trialling well. I've seen worse $60 shots, so I'm putting $5 each way at $60 to win, $11.50 to place, and I'm just looking for a placing at that price. I'll absolutely be licking my lips, and you owe me a beer if it gets up. Race 10 to finish off the day. Really, really good race here, the Benchmark 100, 1,400 metre race to finish off the season. I'm keen to land a winner, so I'm coming into the spring with some form. Tabby Time with J-Mac on board seems to be the play here. Consistent horse, can do it in all conditions, proven first up as well, and has the best jockey booked in the country for a reason. So I mentioned earlier, you're looking for versatile horses, and this fits the bill. Tabby Time, $6.50 to win, $2.35 to finish off the day. All right. The Great Autumn Tip-Off. If you've been following along, the loser has to do a mic'd up Pilates session. Currently, the scoreboard reads Nick, 5, 5, 6. So 5 winners, 5 seconds, 6 thirds, 49.86 points. He is trailing me 10 wins, 4 seconds, 4 thirds at 59.9 points. So about 10 points in front of Nick currently. If you're just joining us for the very first time, it's like putting $1 each way on a horse, and whatever it pays out, you get points. So I would have made $59.9 over the autumn. Nick would have made $49.86 over the autumn. And you can tell just how short I've been going. I've been back in the V16 as the fangirls and the treasure of the moments non-stop, because I've got 5 more wins than him, but I'm only 10 points in front. We've got the Champagne Stakes for the 2-year-olds and the all-age stakes to contest here. Nick's got his tips here. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I'm going to splice them in now. And if you're joining me on the YouTube here, you would have just heard that Nick is on broadsiding in the all-age stakes, and he is on Spicy Lou in the Champagne Stakes. So he said 12 points. It's actually 10 points that he needs to make up here. So he's gone Spicy Lou, who's honestly off the week back up. I don't hate it in the Champagne Stakes as we go through the field. State Visit, Nepotism, Buffalo, Is It Spectacular, Michelangelo, Federalist, Within the Law, Bella Zane, Spicy Lou, Tupacara, Lady Pankhurst, and Next Gen. Nepotism is going to be hard to beat, obviously. Has fallen behind Tentyrus and Worderton. And, was meant to be in the slip. I didn't get a run as it was emergency, and then smashed the field the very next start the week after. $4.20 fair price. But I've gone Buffalo here. I've sided with Buffalo with Jason Collett on board for the Atkins camp. Reason being, I had someone write into our TikTok. I'll get his name up. Gerald Nicholson. Oh, geez, had a stroke there. Jared Nicholson said, mate, you got to look at Buffalo here. And I promised him I would. And the more I looked at it, the more I liked it. The way he closed off in that size really showed me he's capable of getting up to this 1,600 meters. Let's back him in here. I think he's absolutely primed to do it. He was absolutely coming at a bullet a gate that last 200 meters here. So if Collett can time this run right, we could get the chockies here. I mean, Zach Purton was on last start. So, I mean, Jason Collett obviously is a downgrade from Zach Purton, but he's no slouch. He certainly isn't a slouch. So if Collett can put Buffalo in the right spot, hopefully he can launch. $6.50 to win, $2.15. As again, Nick is on Spicy Lou at $13 to win and $3.40. If he gets up, I'm going to be in trouble here, and I'm going to hopefully have to chase my tail into the all-age stakes. As we know, Nick's on broadsiding here at $6 to win, $2.05 to place. But looking through the field, you've got Antino, Brias is your favourite, Desert Lightning, Jimmy Star, My Oberon, Osipenko, Sunshine in Paris, Belclair, Magic Time, Jolly Star, Kimochi, Benedetta, Grail, Seeker, and broadsiding rounds out the tail there as the bottom weight. This is an interesting race. Antino is the best horse in this race. We know that. But doesn't always go well in races like this. He often misses the start, and he has to really rely on a really good ride from the jockey to get him back into it. So if he misses that start and gets shuffled all the way at the back, who knows? Who knows? But I mean, he has the best form in this race. Obviously, he's got form around, Shartin horses, Mr. Brightside, Craig, Pride of Jenny. All those horses would be winning these races, in my opinion, apart from probably Pride of Jenny. She's probably gone now. Brias is also one that I didn't give enough credit coming out of the Galaxy going into TJ Smith. Got the job done there. Does he continue on with it here? I don't know. But, I mean, going well enough that you were going to back him in, I respect it. He's not one for me. Jimmy Star, I think, up to this distance is peak. They're all saying Jimmy Star's a sprinter, get him in the air, but I don't think he is. I think 1,400 metres is his distance here. So he gets here prime at each way odds. Would not shock me one bit if he just absolutely trots in, really, even though he doesn't usually go that well deep in a prep. But I think Jimmy Star is probably my biggest worry here, other than, of course, broadsiding. I think broadsiding is going to be hard to beat. 2,000 metres down to 1,400 metres in 3 weeks seems odd, but James Cummings wouldn't have done it for, no reason. This isn't an afterthought, okay? This is not an afterthought run for broadsiding. He had this plan. He wouldn't have done it if he didn't have this plan. I reckon he could definitely win this race. And then you're saying he retires? I say no. I say he has one more spring under his belt, whether he goes Cox Plate or Golden Eagle. More likely now that Golden Eagle is a Group 1 race and they can get black type for him plus win $10 million. We'll have a spring with broadsiding before he goes off to stud. But I have gone different. I'm letting Nick have the opportunity to go on broadsiding himself. Magic Time can definitely win this race, as can Jolly Star. But I've settled on Kimochi, okay? $11 to win, $3 to place. It's its best distance. It's only finished out of the top 3 once. It's a versatile horse. No matter if it's soft or dry, it can get it done. I mean, was closing really, really well in that TJ Smith. Just didn't get the chockies in the end. Nash should hopefully get it up nice, sit off the pace, and be really strong late. All I really need is a placing to really try and fend off Nick. And if Spicy Lou wins, hopefully Kimochi wins and just gets me back up in front. But yeah, Kimochi for me, because I really don't want to do Pilates. So I'm hoping Kimochi can get the chockies for me in this race and finish off the tip-off with a bang there. Stay tuned to our socials for any tip changes in case there are some scratchings. Obviously, if Nick loses, his punishment will have to wait since he injured his shoulder. But we head to the final around the grounds, the Mornington Cup. I've got Berkshire Breeze at $2.60, best horse in the race in my opinion. I've got the Instructor at $6 to win and $2 to place in Mornington race 9. And then Kembla Grange race 6. Shout out to Miss Mock. They've got Miss Havar at $41. It's finally debuting. Their family bought this horse quite a while ago now, and it's just been injured. It's been slow. It's been fast. It's been everything in between. But finally, they have got it to the races in a maiden handicap down at Kembla Grange. They're all going down there. Brodie Loy is riding there for the Price Camp. So it's 4 years old. They've had it since it's a baby, I'm pretty sure. Finally gets to the races. So you love that as an owner. I can't wait for She's a Sort and October Star to get down to the races. They're in the paddock being fat and happy now, but they're going to be absolute dogs once they come back into the stable. And hopefully Miss Havar turns out to be an absolute dog for the Winter family. So shout out Miss Mock. Let's all get around Miss Mock this weekend and get on Miss Havar, $41. Back her in, and if it gets up, the Verve's on Miss Mock. Okay, she's shouting the Verve. You know what? If Miss Havar gets up, Claire Winter, Miss Mock is going to shout the bar at Kembla Grange. I'm just going to say that. She's going to hate me for saying that. But get down to Kembla Grange. Claire Winter's going to shout some Verve. Randwick Quaddie. Let's finish off with a Quaddie here. Race 7, you got State Visit, Nepotism, Buffalo, Spicy Lou. Race 8, you got Briasa, Jimmy Star, Kamochi, Broadsiding. Race 9, Jetta Beale, General Salute, Dragonstone, Age of Kings. Race 10, Taffy Time, I'm into Win, Townsend, and Cool Jakey. You got the numbers 1, 2, 3, 9, 2, 4, 11, 14, 1, 9, 11, 12, and 5, 10, 11, 16. $50 gets you 19.5%. My best bet, I said it earlier, Clean Energy. Tim Clark back on board, knows this horse inside and out, just gets the job done, in my opinion. $2.70, Clean Energy. Let's finish off with a nice big bang of a best bet. And guys, that's it. It's been a great season. Thank you for joining us each and every week. Obviously, autumn is a bit of a downsend from spring, but we'll be back in your ears each and every week in spring. And last spring was massive. We're going to be having an even bigger spring. We're going to look into, bigger shows, maybe some guests, better analysis, better content, getting down to the races as much as possible, getting as much content out of jockeys and trainers, getting you the best insights, getting you the best bets, and just having a lot of fun. We might even do a punters day where we'll get down to a pub, or we'll get down to a marquee at the races. Who knows? But we might even do a day where you guys can come hang out with us. We'll do a massive punters club. We'll win some money. If buts and maybes, but Nick and I are going to do a whole lot of work over the off season, whether that's, footy punting show, reworking the racing show, booking in that punters day, doing another merch drop. We've got the hats. We want to get some t-shirts and some hoodies up and running. But if you ever want to see anything from us, just let us know. Okay, we're also going to be doing the vlogs for the owners with Monarch Racing. Shout out to them with She's a Sort and October Star once they get up to the races. Can't wait for that. It's going to be a whole lot of content. Thank you guys so much for joining in and making this an awesome season. We will see you in spring, if not before then, for a footy punting show. We'll see how that turns out. But for now, see you guys. Thank you for tuning in each and every week. We love you.